Alright, for 14.4, we are going to be talking about graphing exponential functions and how do you graph them using the standard form. This actually isn't going to be too much new information, and it's not going to take too long, so just as long as we understand the standard form and how we use those in the graph. So the standard form is f of x equals a times b to the x. This is what it looks like, basically. And we've already written some equations that look like this, right? Just notice that it doesn't have the n minus 1 anymore because we're moving away from geometric sequences and we're moving into exponential functions, which exponential functions use an x and a y. Okay? So the a in this equation represents the y-intercept. So when we graph it, the a is where the graph intersects the y-axis. Okay, the b is the rate of change, or basically the ratio. How much is each point increasing by each time? So what are we multiplying by each time? What are we dividing by each time? So if I give you the sample equation, f of x equals 3 times 2 to the x, okay? Well, pretty easy to identify your a and b because I color-coded them for you. But a is 3, meaning that your y-intercept is 0, 3. That's your y-intercept. And then your b, or your rate of change, or your ratio, is 2. Okay, so let's see how that comes into play. We already know one coordinate point on the graph. We know that the y-intercept is 3. So right there. Because I'm going by 2's, my graph. Okay, we also know that since the ratio is a positive 2, right, we know that it's going to increase. So we know that the exponential function is going to get bigger. So probably get bigger. Okay? We know that it's not going to go down. It's not going to decrease like that. Or it's not going to decrease like this. It's going to increase from this point. Okay? So we're going to make a table. That's how we're going to graph most of these, is by making a table. And I'm going to make it this orientation. We have x's and y's. Alright, and I'm just going to pick the x's that I always stick to picking. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Well, guess what? We already know what the y-intercept is, so we know what the output when 0 is. It's 3. Okay, that's our y-intercept. Alright, now let's just plug in a 1 to solve for this coordinate point right here. If we plug in a 1, 2 to the first power is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. If I plug in a 2 here, 2 to the second power is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay? Well, let's notice something here. Right, we already knew we were going to be multiplying by 2 each time. So to work backwards, let's just divide by 2. Instead of plugging it in, I'm just going to divide by 2. Okay, I get 3 over 2, or 1.5. Divide by 2 again. You get 0.75, or 3 over 4. Okay. And there's my xy coordinates that I'm going to graph. Alright, which is similar to what we did before. So I have 1, 6. 2, 12. -1, 3/2, and -2.75. Okay? So your exponential function is going to look like that. Notice that it is increasing. Alright, awesome. So that's all you need to know how to do. What's your a? What's your b? What does your a mean for you? And how do I graph it? Great. I'm going to do one more example with a fraction. And then I'm going to let you do 2 on your own. Cool. Okay. Gotta erase my graph. Alright, this equation we are going to do Alright, got some decimals in here for us. So -6 times 0.07 to the x. First thing we always want to do is identify what our a is. which in this case is -6, and what our b is, which in this case is 0.7. Remember that our a is always going to identify what our y-intercept is. So for this a, we have a y-intercept of 0, -6. So our y-intercept is already at -6, we know that. Alright, now let's try to figure out the rest of our coordinate points. So here's our chart, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, we know what our y-intercept is, it's -6, and we're trying to find things around it. Alright, if I were to plug a 1 in to right here, 0.7 to the first power is 0.7 times -6 is -4.2. Okay. If I were to plug a 2 into this x, 0.7 to the 2 times -6, I get -2.9. And then to fill these out as well, I could plug a -1 in here, or I could just think about, instead of multiplying by 0.7, I could be dividing by 0.7. And of course you can use a calculator for this. Okay, and when I do that, I get -8.6. And you could do it again. I'll let you fill that one in for yourself. Alright? And then let's graph it. So we've got some coordinate points. So 1, -4.2. Okay? So 1, -4.2. Which means just a little bit past 4. 2, -2.9. I mean, that's almost 3. So -3 basically. Right? -1, -8.6. And that would be about right there. Kind of hard to tell the shape of this, kind of hard to make a line. So for me, I'm actually going to pick the 3, and I'm going to see what's going on, because I can't tell whether it slopes like this or whether it slopes like this. Okay, so when I pick out my 3 and I plug it in, I get 0.7 to the third power, which I have to do because I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to tell the shape of it. Okay, and then I have to multiply it by -6, and I get -2.0. So basically -2. So for this coordinate point, I get -2. And so you can kind of tell, maybe, this should have been here, this should have been here. Okay, the shape of the graph should look like this. If you cannot tell what the shape of your graph is, you just need to keep picking more and more x's until you can. So this is our exponential function right here. So I'm going to ask you to do 2 of these, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions about, nope, I'm just going to ask you to do 2 of these. First one is going to be f of x equals -6 times 2 to the x. It's the first one. And the second one will be 7 times 0.9 to the x. Okay, for both of these, I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. I want you to identify A and B, find the y-intercept, and I would like you to graph however is easiest for you to graph. Awesome. Okay, and that's the end of this 14.4. When you're done with this, get started with the homework that's on the board.